Hello and welcome to another amazing episode of Love, Life and Energy. My name is Michelle Chung. I'm your host of this podcast. Now today I really wanted to record something about how to shortcut your process of actually meeting your soulmate, your ideal partner, the right man for you. And I just wanted to also debunk some myths and beliefs about manifesting and actually turn this manifesting process into something that is really tangible and actionable, and that you can actually follow steps and make it happen for yourself. So if you're interested in how you can actually meet somebody without dating and you've been waiting to meet him, you're going to love this episode. Welcome to Love, Life and Energy. I'm Michelle Chung and I'm passionate about all things love, manifesting, relationships, woo-woo stuff, health and wellness. This podcast is your go-to sanctuary for personal growth, designed for busy, career-driven women who are ready to embrace their highest potential and not settle for an average, ordinary life. Let's grow and manifest your dream life together. Today, I really wanted to debunk some of these myths around manifesting, around what you actually have to do to meet your partner without dating, without having to do the dating apps, without the matchmakers and all that other stuff, that external stuff. Because if we really want to change our external world, the simplest, fastest, most effective way is to actually change yourself. So that's that inner work that everyone talks about. Now, it might seem cliche and it might seem fluffy and it may not connect why you would need to work on yourself in order to change your results. So everything comes back to cause and effect, the law of cause and effect. If we want A, we need to do B and then we'll get C, right? So to break things down very pragmatically and very tangibly, our external world, we think we can actually change it by doing more of the external. And sometimes, yes, that happens. Like you want to get from home to work. So you get in your car and you go there. So you're taking physical actions in order to get to your end goal, right? So that's external, creating an external result. Now, this is very much a straightforward process. This is normally how we do things, right? Now, if we want to get the results we want and we're taking actions, so it's trying to get into your car and trying to get to the destination, yet you're not able to get the result that you want. And this is something really powerful that my mentor has said before. They gave me a huge breakthrough when I was single and I was trying to find the right guy, was that if you're not getting the results that you want, then you're resisting something. So there's a very different way of thinking rather than I need to get in the car and then I get to my destination. So this is actually thinking, why am I not getting in my car to go to the destination? Okay, so it's one step back. So a lot of this resistance is, and I talk about a lot of this in my webinars and my new masterclass, is not actually wanting to get to the destination. Okay, so a lot of the reasons why we don't have that happen in our lives, sometimes it's not for lack of trying. You've done the dating thing, you've tried to get yourself out there. Sometimes you don't want to do the dating thing. Sometimes you don't have time. Sometimes you just feel at a loss and hopeless that the right man is out there. You don't want to keep trying. Sometimes you feel like you're better off alone. And I know a lot of women in our 40s and 50s, we've worked really hard to get where we are. We've grown up as the independent generation, Gen X and Gen Y, that we have learnt to look after ourselves and take care of ourselves and been very self-sufficient. So we didn't need anyone to help us get where we are. But if we're not getting the results that we want, we need some help sometimes. Okay. And that's when we start to look around online. We start to look at dating advice. We start to look at what coaches and gurus are doing out there that have done it, right? You want to always follow somebody who has walked the talk, who has done what you want to achieve and has laid out a plan for you, because you're basically piggybacking off all their years of mistakes and failures so you can shortcut your process, right? That's the reason why we pay experts to do the work for us, help us to get where we want. Okay. So coming back to changing our reality, because what we see in the world, it's basically an illusion. So if you follow a lot of more esoteric thinking or philosophy or maybe a bit more scientific, everything that we have in the world, it's energy. It can be influenced by not just external actions, but actually by our thoughts, our behavior, our emotions and feelings. So this is where the two internal world and the external world, this is where it integrates. And this is what we're trying to bridge. We're trying to bridge with how can we change ourselves, the cause, that will give us a different effect, the result. So this cause and effect has to work from inside out. So if you've ever heard people talking about work from inside out, this is what they're talking about. Now you're probably wondering, what is that internal work? What does that work look like? So a lot of people might say, oh, I'm doing the internal work. I'm doing yoga classes. I'm meditating. I'm going to retreats. I'm doing all the stuff, right? All the right things. Now you may think that these are things that move the needle. Now, this is part of it. But what I have found that really, truly makes a transformative, permanent shift is changing your subconscious programming. Now, I started to understand this more in my process as I've been learning and growing myself as well. And how important is this subconscious program? So first of all, what is it? The subconscious programming is basically we have our conscious minds, we have our subconscious minds, and we have our superconscious minds. The superconscious mind relates to higher spirituality, connection with divine, universe, God, spirit, whatever you choose to call it. If you're agnostic or you don't believe this at all, you don't have to know how gravity exists, but you know that it's there, right? I don't want to go too much into that part, but if you are a believer of something that's out there, there's an energy, there's a force, there's a God, there's a spirit or universe, then we have the conscious mind, which is everything that you think, that you see, you feel like that's your reality. This is all what you know, okay? Now, the subconscious mind is the automatic part of you. I guess it's a very efficient system because you don't have to consciously think about breathing. You don't have to think about your heart beating. You don't have to think about how to drive or how to boil an egg. These things you start to do automatically because they're things that you have learned. So humans are like a computer. We're able to download new software. We're able to learn new things. We're able to go to school and get educated. We have to put them into action so that we remember and retain it inside our computer, our brain. And that's how we can shift our subconscious mind. Okay? So a lot of the time, it's once you've learnt it, you can't unlearn it. Once you learn how to read, you look at a page and what do? You automatically start reading. It's not like those words look like mumbo jumbo to you. You can just automatically read it, right? And we learn languages and it becomes part of us. And then, yes, if you don't use it, you lose it. So the thing is, a lot of the time, we've had this automatic programming, this behavior, these beliefs and thoughts and ideas that have been passed down to us from our parents. So in a lot of therapy and psychology, they'll explain to you that between the ages of 0 to 6 or 7 is our most impressionable age. Why? It's because kids are in I believe it's a alpha brainwave where you're more impressionable, you're more able to download, you're in like this open Wi-Fi part of your life that you're able to actually receive signals, thoughts, messages, beliefs, all these things very easily. It's the impressionable age, right? So at that age, we inherit a lot of stuff from our parents and we mimic and we see and we copy and we do whatever our parents and the people around us. And so that's why we experience strong emotions as a trauma and then it gets stuck inside our body. So our body is like the computer system that stores all that data. The body shows signs of this kind of programming. For example, some experience may have caused you to think you were fat or you were overweight or you were unhealthy or unlovable or many different things. And your body starts to react to that kind of programming and puts on weight. Your skin changes, your physical appearance changes. It may deform. Sometimes your face may even change. I know my face has changed. And this is all influenced from experiences that we've had in our past. And even though the body renews every 7 years, our cells completely die, but they completely reborn, and we're actually completely different humans every 7 years. We shed our cells, but our bodies, they hold that memory even though the physical cells change. I guess the energy or the imprint of the energetic signature retains those memories. So that stays with us as a soul, as a spiritual being. One really good book I read, if you're interested, and I highly recommend this, is a book called The Biology of Belief. Now, this is by Dr. Bruce Lipton. I've given some trainings about what he does, and he's a cell biologist. He talks about how our beliefs are actually stored within our cells. So the first half of the book, it's pretty dry, so just hang in there. It's very scientific and a lot of detailed explanations, and I'm a bit impatient, so I wanted to get to the good stuff, but I read the whole thing. The second half of the book is a lot more tangible. It's very interesting, but it really shows that all our beliefs and all the things that we've downloaded in our younger, impressionable years is stored in our subconscious. And at the end of the book, he says there's only really 2 ways to actually change that. Now, firstly, why would you want to change that? It's like you've been planting seeds in the garden of your mind of, say, fruit trees. So then you go through life going, these fruit trees have given me this experience in my life. They've been great. They've been great. Oh, hang on a second. They're not good anymore. All of a sudden, these things keep happening to me and I don't like them. So you've got this programming that you planted in, and then all of a sudden you say, hey, I want a different kind of relationship. I want to live a different kind of life. Yet I keep getting the same results as before. Why is that? Because the seeds that you planted, those fruit trees, are still in your subconscious program, are still buried deep in the soil of your mind, right? So what you've got to do is actually dig them out and weed that garden of your mind and say, hey, I actually want to plant different seeds. So that's what Dr. Bruce Lipton is saying, that there's only 2 ways you can really change that subconscious programming. And that's either with hypnosis. The second way was through PSYCH-K. So that's something that I do as well. And I help clients to firstly release some of those traumas in the past that don't serve them anymore and help to replace them with healthy beliefs, goals. This is where affirmations actually start to work, because you can tell yourself affirmations till you're blue in the face. You can try to manifest till you're blue in the face. And then you keep wondering, why are these manifestations not working? Oh, they don't work. So it's not because the affirmations don't work. It's just like I say, manifesting is like gravity. You know it's there. Sometimes you can't explain it. Sometimes you don't know the whole process, but it's there and it works, right? You don't say, oh, gravity doesn't work because it didn't work for me. It does work. There are just some steps that you have not quite completed, perhaps, that is making your computer not give you the result that you want, okay? So biology belief, PSYCH-K, really powerful systems. And this is the only way I've found that can really transform your beliefs, your processes, your patterns, your habits that actually permanently change. And when we change from that deeper level, that subconscious level, you're replanting different seeds that will take time. There's a gestation period, right? The law of gender, there's a gestation period that will, in time, give you different kind of results, the results that you say that you want, okay? So that's why in my program and the way I teach, the way I coach my clients, it has to be through these 3 steps, okay? That first step is to release. So we need to change that subconscious programming, need to release the resistance that's blocking you so that you can have a more open, fertile garden of your mind to start. And that's step 2, rewriting to a new system that is going to work for you better. Okay? That is the rewrite process. So think about it. Whenever did we get to design our life? when we were kids, we had the luxury of, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? And adults used to always ask you that, right? But when you grew older, maybe some of those things didn't fit you anymore. And you never asked yourself again, hey, what do I want to do in my next 5 years? We never redesign our lives. So we continue adulthood with a childlike mind. And then we wonder why we don't get the results we want, because none of those things serve us anymore. They're outdated. We just need to upgrade to MacBook Pro version 2.0. We need to rewrite and upgrade our love strategy, our love attraction system, because what we were doing before, it doesn't work anymore, okay? Because we tend to just fall into things. How many times have you looked back on your life, or if ever, have you ever reflected in your life and just went, just fell into that job, or kind of just fell into that relationship, or he was available, so we just got together. I know I've done that in my life, and I'm grateful, and there were amazing opportunities, but I never actually said to myself, I want this kind of life. I want this kind of relationship. I want this kind of income. I want this kind of career. We start to do that now because we had COVID where we were stuck at home and we couldn't do anything but go inwards and think. So that's the third step, which is to receive. So we start to release all the stuff, clear it out. We start to rewrite, we design our lives going forward. Then we need to actually accept them when they come along, and they will come along. And half the time we're too busy. So we completely miss all the cool things that universe is sending our way, all the amazing opportunities that come through someone that's just popped up in your life, or someone's introduced you to a new opportunity, and we're just so busy we don't recognize that those are those opportunities that have actually been given to us. So that third step is receive, and that is actually a lot about what we're missing in society today, which is that feminine energy. Now, I don't want to go too woo-woo into this, but the feminine energy is more about the internal process, going back to aligning with your path, aligning with who you are, downloading insights, i.e. intuition, to actually be able to guide you like an internal compass in the truest, most authentic way that will actually give you happiness, fulfillment, that true purpose, and the right way for you to go in your life. And when I speak to a lot of women that I'm working with, my students and my clients, at the end of the day, it's not really about finding and being with a new partner. At the end of the day, most women just want to discover who they truly are, because we've given our lives to everyone else. We've been trying to help them fix their problems, rescue them from situations. We're always there for other people in our lives, that we never get to truly be there for ourselves. And that's why I think this point of our life, our Gen X, Gen Y women out there who are single, want love again this time round, but want to do it in a very different way. So doing it in these 3 steps is a very counterintuitive, different way. And I promise you, this stuff works. Now, here's the disclaimer. It's not going to work for everyone all the time, because there's so many different factors that each person has that other people don't have. And we're all on a different journey in our life, on a different path. We're meant to be learning different things, different lessons. And I always say there's usually only 3 things that block you from finding your soulmate, from meeting him quickly, from having him in your life. And that is, firstly, that resistance. So, that from the first step to release that resistance, that's the only thing that you can do something about. Okay. The other 2 things you can't do anything about. You don't have any control over it, which is karma and divine timing. So those things are a little bit out of your hand, and they just need to play out. If you believe in past lives, and I certainly do, because I feel like I've lived a lot of past lives, and my psychic has told me that I have lived a lot of past lives, a lot of them as a man. And once I know all this stuff, it makes a lot of sense. So we're on this journey in our lives. We've got stuff we feel happening to us. But if we can shift our perspective to these things are happening for me, that they're going to give you a lesson, and that if you open up and stop resisting that lesson, you can learn and move on really quickly. So hopefully this has been helpful for you to understand this whole process of what you actually have to do that really moves the needle, that actually transforms permanently your situation towards the right direction of meeting your soulmate, having him come into your life effortlessly and easily, because I haven't seen any other way that works. A lot of the time, we're trying to find the shortcut. We're trying to find the dating app that works the best for women of this particular age. We're trying to find that shortcut hack. Doesn't work that way. I like to say this process is simple, but it's not easy. It doesn't need to be hard. It doesn't need to be long. It is actually very simple and straightforward. It's only us that gets in our way and makes it a lot harder than it has to be. So if you loved this, I have a brand new masterclass out there. It's going to give you a lot of these insights, the quick steps and process. It actually does require dedication to working through a lot of the blocks, the subconscious programming. But if you're following these steps, then this can really work for you. So go ahead and check out the masterclass. You can register on the link below. And I really look forward and welcome any of your questions. So if you do have any questions, make sure you send me a DM on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, check out the masterclass. Hopefully it'll give you all the answers that you need. I'll see you later.